You can't do anything for your family unless you are healthy. My guest today is truly multifaceted in her life experiences. She is a teacher, farmer, and entrepreneur, and she used to be a professional hula dancer. She started her business by reinventing a classic Hawaiian chili pepper water for her community in Hawaii because, as she says, community health is community wealth. This is a bonus episode, and I thought it would be fun to have a bonus episode by circling back to where this podcast idea was birthed. Hello and welcome to the bonus episode of Season 5 of the Womenpreneur Asia podcast, and I'm your host, Krista Good. My mission is to uncover the stories and strategies of Asian women entrepreneurs in Asia to help you as you navigate your own business journey. This episode is brought to you by Redbox Studio. Remember to subscribe to my podcast on your favorite podcast app. Today's episode is with an entrepreneur from Hawaii, Tina Kekoolani. Tina took a classic Hawaiian chili pepper water and turned it into a product that she's happy to share with her community. Her raw vegan elixirs are called Haleakala Supah Shots. Haleakala refers to the Haleakala or East Maui volcano, which is a massive volcano that forms more than 70% of the island of Maui. As you would have guessed, Tina lives, teaches, and farms, and of course runs her business on the island of Maui. This is Tina's story of her love of the land, culture, and spirit that is truly Hawaiian, wrapped up in her Haleakala Supah Shots. Hi Tina, welcome to Womenpreneur Asia.
Aloha, aloha from Maui, upcountry Maui.
And we are at an 18-hour time difference. What time is it at your end?
9 p.m. And for a farmer, we would be in bed.
So thank you for making the time and staying up a little late past your bedtime to talk to us. Tell us a little bit about Hawaii.
Okay, so I'm a native on both sides of my family. So a native of this land. So basically both sides of my family came here on the canoes over 2,000 years ago, and we established Hawaii. So Hawaii is a beautiful ecosystem of amazing, creatures and plants and ecosystems, and our ancestors developed this into a beautiful place, and we are very healthy. We've always been very healthy. So Hawaii, where I live on the island of Maui, and Maui is it's the second largest island of all the 8 major islands. We have many more, but it's the second largest island, and Maui is home to the second largest mauna or volcano in our island chain, Haleakala, where I live. So I live on the slopes of Haleakala. And in the world, Mauna Kea is the highest mountain from the mountain top to the ocean floor. Haleakala is second, and our mountains are super important to us. They hold water for us, but it is the inspiration for my Supah Shots, and it's also an inspiration for our culture because it's very important for us. Water is super important. So Hawaii is a land of love, it's a land of protecting our resources and families and generations. Yes.
I love how you describe Hawaii, because the beautiful thing about interviewing someone and having visited your country, even before this, and I find this so refreshing because I can really understand the beauty that you're describing, because I was in Maui just for a short time when I was in Hawaii, and I don't think locals even call it Hawaii. We call it Hawaii, but you pronounce it a little bit differently. Yeah. But I can see that your country has a lot of rich culture and also a love for the land.
Deep. Aloha lives here. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of love and appreciation for the land, the way
it is foundational.
Yeah. And so that's what I appreciated most when I was there.
Thank you. Yeah. And our spirituality, our religion is not only our ancestors, but everything around us, our natural world. That is our religion. we honor, respect, and we pay homage to everything from the rains to the stars. You know, there's hundreds of names of winds. We don't just have one wind. We have hundreds of winds and hundreds of rains, and we're very mindful and we pay attention to every single thing. So that is the beauty of not only Hawaiian culture, but we are just a part of Pacific Island culture. And Pacific Islands, of course, we're the greatest ocean on the planet. So we have a lot to take into. So we really respect our ancestors and our environment.
And I found that really so refreshing, because I think that is something that's sometimes lacking in today's modern world.
Yes. Yes.
Where we're just so excited, right? Excited about other modern stuff in the world, but sometimes it is just this connection. Yeah. I call it connection. It is a connection to your land.
Yeah, we're plugged in, and I'm a teacher at 2 schools, and I'm always reminding our kids, and elementary schools, and I'm reminding our kids of what's important and how we need to pay attention, and the little things today now, right? Like plastic and pollution is devastating, and I'm really happy to see that these kids know that if they see a turtle on the beach or a monk seal, they need to leave it alone. Or they see plastics or pollution safely, they need to pick it up. And if they cannot buy plastics and, recycle as best as they can, these children in Hawaii know how to do that. So
that will probably be a good time to ask you about your business. So you mentioned that you're a teacher, but you also have a business. And tell us, how did this business get started and what is it all about?
It started from my moving from Oahu. That's the big city. I'm kind of a city girl, and I moved here to Maui for a very specific reason. And I wanted to help my community. My parents are very socially aware and very active, and they contributed to the community. So being here, I wanted to help my community, get involved with my community. So I wanted to, and I'm a foodie, culinarian, and an artist. My dad was an architect, and my mother was I come from a hula background. So hula and culture and art and music and dance was always very much a part of my culture. So as a foodie, I wanted to elevate the health of my community where I live now. So I wanted to create something new. And I did that with this chili pepper water. So Hawaiian chili pepper water is a very local Hawaiian thing, but a lot of it the classic is too salty. So knowing nutrition and culinary arts, I wanted to create something new and vibrant. And it's community tested, and my first batch, I put it out into the community and it sold out. So it was a buzzword, and people loved it, and I knew that it was helping our community health. And my thing now is community health equals community wealth. You can't do anything for yourself or your family or community unless you are healthy. So it developed, and it started my business, and I plugged into a community collaboration of farmers to produce everything. It's raw, it's vegan. I gathered all the resources it's all natural, and wanted to share it and saturate the community with it first. So I did that. 2016, my business started, and it went off, and it's growing. And 2016, 17, 18, it doubled and doubled and doubled. And now I have 4 flavors now, but it's well known for immunity boosting, metabolism boosting, congestion, blood flow improving, lowering of cholesterol, lowering of high blood pressure. And it's all raw, and it's all natural, and nothing is preserved. Nothing is cooked down to where the nutrients are all cooked out. So that is the power that's the power of food. So I am a promoter of food as medicine, food security, because we can do it ourselves, and that is the main value and power of Haleakala Supah Shots.
So you were mentioning 4 flavors. Could you describe those flavors?
Yes, I loved trying all different flavors. Hawaiian chili pepper water is the foundation. So you got to have some very unique flavors that can hold up to a spice. Watermelon wasn't doing it, and watermelon and mint, I love that, but nutritionally it was there, but lilikoi, so passion fruit, was the first one that was just wow. And I worked with thousands of pounds of lilikoi in the past decade, and lilikoi, and I wanted to round it off really well, so I used really high quality ingredients, like a good quality champagne vinegar and organic agave. Everything is mindful, everything is purposeful. So lilikoi is first passion fruit. Then I created the strawberries, antioxidant powerhouse. Then the third flavor, pineapple with Thai basil, super exotic. Thai basil, amazing. Pineapple, that's Maui. It's Maui Gold. So that I created that for digestive health. And the fourth flavor I just released days ago, like just a few days ago, Suriname cherry and turmeric. In the world of nutrition, we all know that turmeric is a superpower food. And so I had to have that. And we call it olena. Olena in Hawaiian culture, olena is not only a superpower food, but we use it to dye our clothing. We use it for ceremony. And then every one of these flavors, I always use a hand-harvested sea salt. So we call it pa'akai. Pa'akai is pa'a is solid, kai is ocean. So the solid form of the ocean is salt. And that's a very important part of Hawaiian culture for spirituality, for grounding, so I added that into every single one of my shots. So that's the 4 flavors. And I designed the labels, and everything is ready to go for people to make sure that they keep that knowledge or keep that idea of please take care of your health first, because you can't do anything for anyone else unless you take care of yourself first. That's
a great point. And when you were just describing, I was like, oh, sounds really tasty, all those turmeric, Suriname cherry, because over here in Malaysia, we also do have Suriname cherry. And I've tasted it on its
pitanga.
Own. Yeah.
Do you call it pitanga? Do you call it pitanga?
No, we used to call it Suriname cherry. I think I was introduced to it as a drink, yeah. And we were guessing. My friend was telling us, do you know what drink this is? And we were all guessing. And we got all the guesses wrong. And then she said, well, it's Suriname cherry. And she's actually planting it in her backyard.
Yes, and it's so just a little nutritional information, just like Thai basil, Suriname cherry is antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. So it is an herb that is very, very good for our gut health, our microbiome. Our gut health is number one, the most important component to focus on when we need to restore our immunity, number one. So Haleakala Supah Shots focus is on fiber, and fiber is the number one thing. Fiber is super important to feed the good bacteria in our guts that restore immunity. So everything is very purposeful, but it's delicious.
Yeah,
it's yummy.
It is. Yeah, it's yummy. And the way you describe it, I think the other flavors are as yummy. So when you're talking about all your 4 flavors, how long did it take you to come up with these flavors? All this R&D?
It's such a passion. I mean, it's kind of like when you ask a chef how they created a dish, it is, like 3 a.m, you get up and you like, I think I'm going to put that with that. Or like in the middle of the day, you think of that, and it's really a love. So I think the Suriname cherry I developed I knew I wanted a turmeric Supah Shot, So I think the Suriname cherry, because the Suriname cherry is my grandmother. That is my grandmother's tree that I was raised with, and I studied it nutritionally within a couple years, 2-3 years. But the lilikoi, the first one, that was like a couple years. So within a span of 2015, 14 that I started. So that's like within 8-9 years that I took time to really develop these flavors. And as a teacher, in the first few years of teaching, of course, we have summers off. So I used those summers to explore my ingredients that I knew I had and I knew I could get. And I'm as a farmer, and I knew the other farmers could provide that. And it's kind of like, Anthony Bourdain, when he's like travels the world and he goes to all these different places. Well, Maui, we have that here. It's like traveling.
You basically can grow a lot of things on Maui.
Yes, we are so blessed. Yeah.
So it took a couple of years for you to get your flavor combinations and your fruit and vegetable combinations right before you put them into bottles. So if someone were to buy your Supah Shots, how much should they be drinking? Because I can see it's large bottles, right?
Yep. I have 1 liter bottles, half liter bottles, and quarter liter bottles. Everyone is different. I have met culinarians and spice lovers and people who enjoy heat that could drink a quarter liter bottle within 20 minutes or milk it within a week. So everyone is different. And that's the thing about nutrition. And even, doctors will tell you, well, you can't tell people that it's, it's kind of a touchy subject, but everyone is different. And that is what I try to promote, is everyone needs to pay attention to their own body and how they feel and how it makes them feel. So these elixirs are raw and they're vegan. So it is really encouraging people to eat more fresh fruit. My bottles are just fresh fruit and herbs in a bottle. Only thing, it's rounded off with vinegar, a top quality vinegar, which is one of the oldest condiments on the planet in history, hand harvested sea salt, which is mineral rich, and it's not devoid of minerals, which is a lot of salts that you see on the shelf that are just no minerals. And then the herbs and all of that is fiber. So it is a raw vegan drink. And when you consume it, you know how you feel. So lots of folks, and I have testimonials of folks that have told me how much it has helped them lower their blood pressure, relieve their constipation. I have pregnant friends that have told me how much it has eased their pregnancy. I mean, my mother had beautiful skin, beautiful hair, and it's all because she ate well and she had her vitamins and she ate a lot of chili peppers. And I noticed that a lot of people that like chili peppers and eat chili peppers, in the skin is the vitamins, and the seed, that's capsaicin. So capsaicin is one of the things. Yes, it provides the heat, but it's the thing that elevates your metabolism, elevates your restoring of immunity, improves blood flow. So this is all food as medicine. And so we need to return to that.
I was just curious, you talked about chili pepper. How spicy is your chili pepper? Because over in this part of Asia, our chili peppers are really spicy.
Yeah. So it's called the Hawaiian chili pepper, and we call it nioi. It is from South America. Just like pineapples, it's not native to Hawaii. It's not a super over-the-top spice. It's not a boonie pepper or a Scotch bonnet. It's not up there in the Scoville scale. It is kind of in the middle, a sweeter, more pleasant pepper. So I was raised, my mother, had peppers all the time, and she loved hot, and I like hot too, and I can handle the hot, but sometimes it's too hot is not enjoyable. You need to enjoy your food. So this is a a well-rounded elixir. Yeah, it's delicious, but it's well-rounded.
Okay. I make it a point to remember to taste that the next time I'm in your country.
Yeah. Yes.
Is it available across Hawaii?
Yes. All throughout. I ship to all islands. I ship to the mainland. I deliver for free on Maui, upcountry and central, because during the pandemic, people were actually, they wanted it more because they knew that, oh my gosh, I needed to tend to my health now. I need to get something, and this is potent. So I wanted it to be really accessible and really available to the community. It's not the kind of, but I didn't want it to sit on a shelf idly next to a Coca-Cola bottle. I didn't want it to be that because it needs to move. It needs to work for our community. So it's everywhere.
Let's talk a little bit about the early years. I know you mentioned that you started officially in 2016.
Yeah.
What was the first thing you did to market it? Because you made this. Yeah. You made all your flavor combinations and you wanted your community to have healthy, good, and nutritious elixirs. What was the first thing you did and any challenges that you faced in the early days?
I was born in a family that was so active in the community and so social. So I wanted to moving to Maui because I'm from another island. I was here in my home, starting a new life. So asked some elders in the community about it. And then I went to work, and that was the fun part. And I put all the concoctions together, and I released it in a community event. We call it a ho'olaulea, or like a community festival where we share what we make. And my very first event, I made about 40 bottles. And these are one liter bottles. That's huge. These are big bottles. It sold out in hours. No one had ever tasted something like that. They could tell that it was flavors, familiar flavors, but what? It's spicy and with fruit. That's weird, but it's delicious. So it's community tested. So the very first release was in the community, which is perfect, because that's what I love, is to make sure that it's grassroots. And in our ho'olaulea, in our community event, it sold out. And that's a lot. 40 bottles sold out in hours. And then it went from there. And then people in the community are like, you gotta do more of this. You gotta release it. So as a teacher at 2 schools, I had to kind of figure out, how do I have the time for that? I need to calculate my resources, my time, but it's just all community based. And that's kind of a powerful thing because like I always say, community health is community wealth. So very much grassroots oriented.
It was a community thing and you tested it with the grassroots, the community loved it. And then you had to also prioritize your time between being a teacher and making your elixirs.
Yes.
So how did you overcome this challenge?
I think it's just because I was raised in a household of powerhouses that were, my dad was a business owner. My mother was a business manager. They were hard charging, hard workers and very much plugged into the community and were well known. So I took that as my inspiration and they had passed on. So I kept their legacy in my mind and used it as fuel for the kids. Like right now, I teach Hawaiian Studies, but I'm all about making sure these kids are eating healthy and we go outside and we harvest fruit. And that's part of Hawaiian culture anyways, is our people were very healthy and plugged into land always and helpful of restoring our resources. But so that was my parents. My parents were my fuel And after they passed, I just wanted to make them proud. And so I just took everything that I knew from, made different jobs of all different types of talents and skills, and wanted to better our world and teach our kids and take care of our families and our elders. We should be focusing our energies on making the place better than we found it. But if we have skills and we have passion to make it better and more fun and more vibrant, our world is benefiting from each and every your talents, my talents, even the little kids. I mean, if they can do something, if they are inspired by something that I tell them about their lunch, or I bring them, fresh guavas, or we go out inside and pick star fruit or tangerines, they're going to take that home with them, and their parents are going to understand that, someone is teaching them that it's healthier and better for them if they eat things that are straight off the tree. Yes, and not imported or something that's artificial. So food is medicine, number one. But in Hawaii, we come from that culture because we take care of our aina, we take care of our land. And all of that is in the bottle, Supah Shots bottle. Love, passion, culture, resources, education. Yeah, passion.
And you said that in the beginning, the community helped you with the marketing. So what about now, many years after that? How are you marketing your Supah Shots?
Well, I've gotten the business buzz, the business bug. So I know I love shopping around for the best bottles. And I love shopping around for the best quality organic vinegars. So yeah, bottles. I was kind of, people kind of said, well, wow, she's using those bottles and it's kind of expensive. Well, I got around that, and I wanted the best quality product to be delivered in the best quality vessel. And I am a no plastic person. I'm in a plastic free zone. I'm a no spray zone on my land. So I am a champion for the environment. No plastic, no spray, no chemicals, no pesticides, no processing of anything. And I'm always, telling my kids, stay away from sugar, processed sugar. So, but anyway, the community absolutely was inspiration for me to better myself. So I did the research, and as a teacher, I had summers off, and I did the research, and I loved it. So it was like kind of a research, nutrition, culinary arts, kind of cultural. I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to make my land better and my people, and then it's going to spread out, and more people are going to love it, and more people are going to get healthier. So that's a good thing.
And that's your marketing message to the rest of the world.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And if you look at my Instagram and my Facebook, I give so many pictures of my elixirs in different scenarios with nutritional information. And I do have testimonials of folks. Actually, so my website is almost coming up, but I have so many testimonials of people who have lowered their blood pressure, who have been more energetic, lowered their cholesterol, blood work has improved. And so another thing I attribute to it is that, I don't know if you saw the movie Chocolat. Have you ever seen the movie Chocolat? Yeah, so it's like that. If soul food. So if you make a product or you make a dish and you put in Hawaii we say mana, or your spirit in it, and every single batch I pule, or I pray, and I put in these old prayers for strengthening, protecting, healing, and all of this energy. Life is about energy. And so all of this energy that I put into it, that I say into it, goes into it. Like grandma's stew, she loves her stew, but everything about her is going into that stew. Well, that's her spirit. So every single batch that I make has these, I always recite these healing prayers and these strengthening prayers, and powerful energy is put into every single batch. And not everybody in the world understands that, but we come from a culture of that. And I know that many cultures around the world understand that as well. So I want people to understand that, and people do tell me that they feel that. And when they drink, their bottles, I tell them, well, I put this into that, and they said they feel that. So that is something that you don't hear too often on a product. Coca-Cola can't say that, Dr. Pepper can't say that, but we can say that because we come from a culture of aloha.
I love that, because I think what you've just done is you've opened up this entire conversation about, it's not just a blend of fruits and vegetables,
right,
or vinegar or salt. It's something beyond that in your bottle.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of protective, I guess you could say, of my product. It doesn't deserve to be just sitting and forgotten somewhere, because it is alive. Because it is raw. It's raw. It's vegan, which means it's alive. Nothing was cooked out. Nothing was processed. Everything from the soil to the cutting of it to the mixing of it went into that bottle. So nothing was processed. And aside from that, it gets a little extra sprinkle of mana, of passion.
Of your spirit.
A sprinkle of spirit.
of Tina's spirit.
Yes, of Hawaii, of aloha, of what the world needs more of. Yeah. So
I want to also go into your story. So you mentioned you moved from Oahu to Maui. Was it because of your job as a teacher?
No, I was a born and raised city girl. So I was a professional hula dancer, Polynesian professional hula dancer, and traveled the world and represented Hawaii, and I loved that. And I moved to Maui to work on an island, one of our islands, remote islands that no one really is allowed to go on, a Kahoolawe, a bomb clearance project. So I moved there moved to Maui in 2000 to work on a bomb clearance project on the island of Kahoolawe. And that was an amazing experience as well. I was directing helicopters and mapping teams and on a command central, command central kind of scenario, and it was amazing. But I learned a lot of good work ethics as far as being super industrious. And then, life I was a chicken farmer while I had a full-time job. So I had a multifaceted, world, and it enabled me to really understand that, wow, I can do a lot, and I can multitask, super multitask. And then, things change. And then I moved to another place up in Kula, beautiful. I mean, I'm very blessed where we are. This is where I live. And then I became more plugged into community. And then I never thought I would be a teacher. Never thought I would do that. So I dove into that. And then that led me to, okay, well, I'm here. And I'm not on Oahu anymore with my, super fast moving, family and lifestyle. So I'm a kind of a country hillbilly now. So, okay, all right, I'm going to, be creative. And I come from a creative family, and it's my dad. I was always very, very much a part of his creative world. Like when I was a little kid, I would always spend time in my dad. He was an architect, so he owned an architectural firm. And I would spend time not really out in the sandbox. It was in his office. Playing with textiles and granite samples and looking through Architectural Digest as a little kid. So that was my inspiration artistically. And my dad was also a musician. He played Latin jazz. He was a very well-known singer. My mother was a very well-known, Hawaiian dancer from our family and manager of well-known Hawaiian artists and musicians. So I came from, that kind of background. And then coming to Maui, I was just kind of by myself and, okay, I got to stand on my own 2 feet and I create. Create is so healthy. Creating is so therapeutic. So I created. This is my baby.
And now you're also a farmer. You mentioned that just now. Yeah,
my dad had a green thumb, so he always was the green thumb in our family. And so I got his green thumb, and the food thing kind of was my own. I was always a health nut, and I was in the gym and very athletic, and so I kind of was always the one concocting healthy things. So this is the collaboration of everything. The vibrance and culture and healthy things and
and it's all that has come from you, your past and your present, and of course possibly your future.
And where I live.
And where you live serves as an inspiration.
Yes. Look at how beautiful. I think it's so peaceful, and I live in a community of I think my neighbors are the teachers in my school. All of the kids are like my students, most of them, and we take care of each other. We share, we look out for each other, and it's a very tight-knit community. Of course, we all have trials and tribulations, but I can say that once you get over those, you turn stumbling blocks into stepping stones. But that's what the past few decades have been like. And the Haleakala Supah Shots is a symbol of that. Is a symbol of not only innovating, but getting back on your own creativity, coming from hardship, and creating something new and sharing it. And if it betters the world, then there you go. You have your own elixir, or you have your own health food, or healthy service, or a healthy product. But the most important thing is that you leave this world better than you found it. And that is super important for us right now. There's a lot of folks that are really needing some help. And if you're strong-minded, you can do it.
And what is your vision for all your products and your business?
Yeah, my vision is to turn my land, like I just did a ton of yard work today. My vision is to turn my land. Hopefully I can create a creation studio / commercial kitchen, and I can bring in kids or families, and we can grow fruits, vegetables, herbs, medicine, crafts, and this can be a hub of learning, not only of nutrition and our culture, but maybe kids can understand how important pomegranate is, and how they can use it in food, or how important spices are, or herbs. And I can also use my creation studio as a place where people in the community have ideas, and then we can congregate here on my land in the creation studio to come up with brand new ways of formulating foods and resources for the community, and it's a spillover effect. Once we can do that and they're empowered and the kids feel like, oh, wow, I have really good knife skills, maybe I can be a chef. And they can be a chef for maybe our community and start to create their own recipes. And just like how I did, it was tested first in the community. And maybe these kids can test it first in the community, and it can grow into a super healthy and vibrant new thing. And it can maybe reach restaurants, or maybe it can reach other communities and other places and be award winners. And not only award winners, but just be recognized as something that's kind of my thing too. Innovated, elevated, celebrated. And it's going to be our stamp. And the kids are going to be proud of themselves. And their families are going to be proud.
And I'm sure you'll be proud too.
And I'm going to be just teary-eyed and super proud.
If you could turn back the clock and knowing what you know now, what would you tell a younger version of yourself?
Wow. Because I was kind of a renegade, and I was just like I was kind of wild. I was kind of free, and I just liked to, but at the same time, I was grounded with my culture and my family. What would I tell myself? You know what? Create, keep creating. I was given a different hand of cards, and I followed it, but I was very fortunate that I represented Hawaii as a dancer, and I was like a representative going to all these countries. So as a young, what would I tell myself? Maybe create more. Because I did, follow certain journeys because of other people, and we all do. But I would say to my younger self, create more of what you're passionate about. I mean, I'm a dancer. Of course, I come from a hula background, and that's my roots, and that's hula is creating. But I found passion in creating with food and being a natural food connoisseur. I would say create more. So even in times where you feel pressured to do this or do that, or to go into real estate or go into finance, it's always super comforting to the soul to create. Creating is really important.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Because I think at some point in our lives, we all want to create something.
Mm-hmm. Leave a legacy. Leave something of ourselves. Yeah. And you have your own flavor. You have your own, level of how you want to leave your legacy. But at the same time, you also want to enjoy life. So I guess, that's another thing. I enjoyed life. I could say for myself, I enjoyed life. And I had parents.
Did you do anything crazy while enjoying life?
Yes. Yeah. And my parents they're travelers. My mother was a travel agent. My father, as an architect, every year he traveled with his architect buddy to Europe, and they went to see the best, architectural gems of the world. And my dad and I always wanted to go and see Egypt together. So you got to enjoy life. Yeah. But I can say, for a fact, I enjoyed my life, and I'm fairly young, but if you take the time to go see things now, go see it now. Don't wait until you retire. Or, some people just think that they're going to work until they retire, and then they're going to... No, you got to see it now. You got to take out your best crystal and use it now. You got to take out your best china and use it now. You never know when...
Wear the best dress.
Wear the best... I mean, I was a fashion person as well. I wanted to be a fashion designer as well. And I was very much, a social, musical, dance I went to clubs. But enjoy life now. Enjoy life now. Create. But number one, never forget where you come from. Take care of your family. Love your culture. Don't pollute the environment. and enjoy life. Definitely. You gotta be happy.
Yeah. Really good advice, because I think these days people are really rethinking how they want to live their life post-pandemic. Yeah. Anyhow, people are really literally living their life now, because I think a lot of things they realize they cannot wait. You cannot wait. We cannot wait.
Right. There's a lot of folks are out traveling now. You know, they're feeling that as well. For me, not yet, because I'm still creating, and I have a lot more creating to do. And I've traveled, but I would love to go to Egypt to honor my dad, and see the beautiful architectural creations of the world. And when I was in 4th grade, when I was a little kid, my dad helped me a little bit my science projects, and so I won in 4th grade the best science project for a project that I did on King Tutankhamun, because we loved Egypt. And then later on, I won a science project for the Aurora Borealis, and I want to go see all those things. But that's how important it is to kind of connect with your family, and my dad will always be that inspiration. My mom will always be my inspiration. My mom is my inspiration for Haleakala Supah Shots. She's the one who raised us with Hawaiian chili peppers, and to this day, she's the one. Yeah.
And she's probably in every single elixir that you sell.
Yes, and she's I can hear in the back of my ear, and she's watching over me, and I feel them, because I asked them before they left to come back and help me, and I feel them every step of the way. And that's another thing. Keep yourself plugged into your ancestors. And that's why one of the things you asked me was my favorite quote. If I have courage, it is because I have faith in the knowledge of my ancestors. So that is from Papa Mau Piailug, a master navigator from Sarawal, who returned the knowledge of ocean navigation, open ocean navigation, navigating from the stars and the winds and everything. He returned it to our Hawaiian people. And that's because we looked for it and we paid attention. So I would say, pay attention to your ancestors and your family. That's huge for us here in the largest ocean on the planet.
And I definitely felt it when I was in Hawaii. And I really felt that there are so many places that you can go to, but there is a certain place sometimes that you go to that you feel that the connection to the earth is so strong. And that to me was my first impression when I was in Hawaii. When I was there, I realized that there's this deep connection and deep love for nature, which we really need to revive, because given that we've seen everything that's happening around us, we definitely need to go back to our roots. Whether it is the ancestors, whether it is nature, whether it is just to be attuned to the vibrations around us.
Perfect word, attuned. Plugged in and attuned. Yeah, perfect word.
Yeah.
That's who we are.
So that is why I wanted you for my bonus episode, because you are like that connection for me, that one full circle where I pitched my podcast project in Hawaii. And in season 5, I interview someone from Hawaii, because I feel like that's such a befitting tribute to the people in the place that have helped me put this podcast out there. Because without that, I don't think I'll be able to do that. I mean, sometimes you need that push, right? That nudge. Someone has to say, go and do it, or hey, you can do this.
And you're following your gut. You're following your intuition. And there's something about that moves you, to move this way or that way. Yeah.
And so, where can people find you and your Supah Shots online?
I saturate the community, which means I am everywhere. And I am on Maui, especially. I'm at most of the farmers markets, Kihei Farmers Market on Saturday, and it's all, I can all, send that information. Kihei, Wailuku, Kahoolawe, Lahaina, Upcountry. And during the pandemic, I wanted to make it really accessible, so I offered free delivery. I mean, that's crazy. So I deliver for free. And I wanted to make sure that people understood how important that is. Who delivers for free? And that's how I know that's how much I wanted people to understand the impact of the nutritional potency of my elixir, and that it's very accessible, super affordable, and it's straight from the soil in the most meaningful, purposeful, nutritional, and impactful way to restore their immunity. I reduce, reuse, recycle, so people are actively being a sustainable warrior by returning their bottles, and they get like a good amount back. So they're practicing saving the planet, and everything is very eco-friendly and zero plastic. And that is super important for the environment. So yes, the answer to your question is I'm everywhere.
Okay. I will definitely put the links in the show notes when we have this episode on air. So thank you, Tina. Thank you for so much. Very energizing interview for me to close the season, because this season 5, so I'm closing it with a special episode with you.
Thank you so much. You should come to Maui. And then we can take you on a tour.
I remember Maui for their sunflowers.
Yes, I used to work at a farm, and during our pumpkin patch, we have sunflowers now. But yeah, all over, people are using sunflowers as part of their restoring the soil.
One thing I must say is that everywhere in Hawaii, the people love their land, and from this love of land comes all these products. So thank you so much, Tina.
Yes, thank you.
I wish you all the best, and I really hope that I can get to Maui and try your Supah Shots.
Yes, take you on a tour.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, mahalo. I'll see you later, Krista. Take care.
Today's episode is a little different. Could you tell? Tina speaks of her products in a way that's totally different from other entrepreneurs I've spoken to. She brings reverence to her products and imbues them with spirituality, which I appreciate. We don't speak enough about spirituality, and particularly in the entrepreneurial context. I'm also delighted that I capped the season with an episode with a Hawaiian entrepreneur who believes deeply that community health is truly community wealth. As we have experienced over the past 3 years, we are nothing without our health. This season gave me the opportunity to speak to a diverse group of entrepreneurs in terms of businesses and experiences. The guests interviewed in this podcast are specially selected based on criteria such as diversity of business, willingness to be vulnerable, and diverse backgrounds and countries. I love how exotic Asia is and how much of wonderful insights and stories I can bring to you through my guests. Yet I still haven't spoken to women from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Brunei. So if you know any women entrepreneurs from these countries, please do get in touch with me on my website. I'd love to have even more diversity from my podcast guests. This year, thanks to you, my podcast has reached 13 countries, and I grew my listenership to 96%. Thank you for making my podcast what it is today. I wouldn't be here without you. As I wrap up my podcasting year, I look forward to taking a break and enjoying the holiday season. Thank you for being with me on this journey as I podcast my way into more stories and experiences of Asian women entrepreneurs in Asia. Each of us needs that one story that lifts us up, and I hope my podcast gives you a buffet of stories that you can listen to over and over. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you are. And that's it, my friend. I'll see you in 2023. Be well, be happy, and appreciate your business journey.